Hi guys, Nerd Candy and APOC here, or Moose Man. So we just saw the gaming director Joe's video on Twitter discussing the future of Destiny. For the most part, obviously they can't really reveal too much with the whole showcase coming up in a few days. It is a few days, correct? It's 22nd? Yeah, so a few more days. Um, Personally, I was really shocked to see the gaming director kind of come out of his shell and talk. That was really kind of something that wasn't expecting. Um, Now, coming from somebody who's never really got around to playing like D1, I never really got that luxury of knowing all of the stuff that like D1 players have been granted. So that's why APOC's here. Um, so the short and skinny, he was upfront and had said his communication was the communication between the community and Bungie wasn't the greatest. Um, Shout out to somehow self plugging your stream. But basically, what Joe's wanting to do is he's wanting to kind of open up more communications, explaining about like what's going to be happening, some new features that might be brought in, stuff like that, bringing some more communication between the players and the dev teams, which I think is really great. My only biggest concern, and he did address this as well, is obviously the Bungie staff's safety. Now, I have been a defender of all of the staff at Bungie. I don't work for Bungie, and for those of you who are going to say, "Oh, she's defending, she's working for Bungie," trust me, I don't work for Bungie.
She really doesn't.
And if I did, where the fuck is my paycheck? um, so with that being aired out, basically, I worry about the dev team's safety and everybody's safety at Bungie because as everyone's kind of well aware at this point, people have been stalking the devs and managers and stuff of Bungie. They've been doing death threats, all that terrible, like, you need to fucking go outside, like, breathe fresh air shit. So that's again my personal preference. Do you have any on in regards to the whole comms being opened up?
They're a lot better than they were in D1, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, there's a huge accomplishment. If any D1 elders watch this video, put in your 2 cents on this because from what APOC is saying, that they've really opened up in comparison to D1. So that's always a good sign. Another thing, it sounds like a lot of the armor that we are supposed to be, that was originally, I guess they were originally going to put it in Eververse. They've decided, nope, we're going to make it ritual based. So for those of you who don't know, ritual based is just strikes, crucible, or gambit. I think what would be more productive, especially for those of us who are like on and off Destiny players, APOC and I were actually discussing this earlier, is even if it's like Rahul or Ada 1, where they could focus previous seasonal armor, so like stuff like from Season of the Plunder where I missed out, or Season of the Lost, Season of the Haunted, like stuff that we normally would, like, that we would have missed out. Because again, there are people that just are way too busy to play Destiny. I know a couple people, APOC knows a couple people, where coming from a parental aspect, we don't really have a lot of time to play the game. We work, we're cooking, we're cleaning, we're taking care of the kids, right? We don't really have that downtime. So it didn't really seem like it was really fulfilling to the more casual players, which is understandable because, casual players don't, I guess, bring enough to the table. I'm not exactly sure. There wasn't really discussion much about PvE, but there was a lot of talk about PvP. So it looks like, from what I understand, again, if anybody has like a different perspective of this, please comment about it. But essentially, they're going to be moving the stuff that was in like Crucible Labs into the core playlist. They're going to be getting the least. Joe explained Rift is, I guess, unpopular within the Destiny community, so they're going to be kind of pulling that out of the core roster and just switching stuff around. He was discussing maps, and he was explaining, this is what I loved about how he explained it, is that it goes through not just like one or two people. This goes through a chain of command. It goes through a bunch of different people to approve or deny these changes. So things are not always going to be done right away. I know everybody pulls out the whole Bungie is a AAA company. They're worth billions of dollars. They have over 1,000 employees, but
They have less than.
and people say that Sony bought out Bungie, but that's not what actually happened. So to refresh people's memory, Sony acquired Bungie. The difference between that is that instead of Sony basically taking all of like Bungie's stocks and stuff like that and putting it as Sony's proprietary like business, Bungie is still independent enough that they could do what they want.
They've partnered.
It's essentially a partnership. It is not a complete takeover. So to correct those who have been saying that Bungie is, you know, they're a $1 billion corporation that Sony has bought out, which again, they didn't. They partnered with Sony. And people are saying that $1 billion or whatever, those billions of dollars have gone out the door. But what people don't realize is that that's going to other sources. That's going to other resources to better the game. And yes, I understand that it feels like the developers and the Bungie as a whole is essentially canning Destiny 2 for Marathon or whatever. But from what I'm understanding, they're very much still very active in fixing things. It's just they haven't been communicating it, which again is what Joe was explaining. Another thing, which is nice again, is they're not staying in a bubble. It sounds like they're trying to throw stuff out there to see what will stick. Which again is like every business practice. You never know if your product is going to sell unless you put it out there, right? What else did he mention?
But he's gonna sit while he's streaming. He's gonna sit there and talk to the top players, and I don't think that's.
Yeah, so one of my biggest concerns is Joe is basically going to be at the level of the players. So he's going to be going in and actually talking to the elite players, the experts, all of those people. I get it. I get why they would want to talk to people who basically eat, breathe, shit Destiny, but at the same time,
Talk about the bottom of the barrel, the people who are struggling.
yeah, talk to those of us who aren't doing great in the game. Figure out what what Bungie can do, even us as a community. What can we do to step up? Right? This isn't just like, especially with the Season of the Deep. We all know the whole toxic the whole like low morale and everything, like the low teamwork and everything. I get it more than anybody. The burnout is real, but we gotta face facts. Whenever the community is at its lowest, I feel that is our time to shine, to really step up, either as D1 elders or as people. Like for myself, I've been playing since Red War. Well, actually, yeah, I've been playing around since Red War. So it's not a matter of like, I feel like that's just gonna really set people up for failure, in my opinion, because the elite players are the people that do solo flawless runs, the people who do
1v3 trials carries.
1v3 trial carries. Like, those are the people that don't really offer a lot to the table. They do offer some. I will give them credit to those of you who have the natural talent to do really well in trials, Iron Banner, Crucible, and anything. That's fine. But again, like I said, Joe didn't really mention much about the PvE experience. He did mention about strike teams coming back. Now, again, as somebody who's never got into strike teams, that would be something a little bit more on APOC's side. So, what do you think about them bringing back strike teams?
Well, having at least a decent, like a team that understands and primarily focuses on that specific section is probably a better idea.
So it's a step up?
It's a step up, but at the same time, you can't just forego everything else and focus on just Crucible. There's not just Crucible in Destiny 2.
He does have a point.
There are
now,
people who hate Crucible.
Yeah. I will say it right now, at the current state of how Crucible is, I refuse to play it. There's no teamwork. There's no objective based, especially for game modes like Zone Control. Everybody just goes for kills. And then when somebody who actually is playing to the objective, they'll get hate, essentially. I've gotten my fair share of hate messages, and it doesn't help that I'm a female, but that's besides the point. I've gotten hate mail for not getting any adequate number of kills. Again, I understand Crucible is PvP, so it's player versus player, but at the same time, if there's a certain mode, you wouldn't want to do, like, what is it? You wouldn't want strikes to suddenly just not have an objective, right? You want that objective to be completed. So in this case, I don't play Crucible, so I really shouldn't be putting my 2 cents in. But as somebody who doesn't always play Crucible, I do like the idea that they're bringing some of the labs, the Crucible lab playlists, into the core. I think that might be a nice change. He was also mentioning a couple of new modes called Checkmate, which I guess is a primary weapons based. I could see where that would be a lot of fun, but I could also see where that could go wrong, especially for exotic primaries like Osteostriga and Quicksilver Storm, especially if you have the Catalyst.
Don't forget, the Immortal is also a primary.
And Immortal Adept are also primary weapons. So again, I could see that really, really not being beneficial, especially with, again, just the way that Crucible has been. And again, I'm probably going to get hate comments about this. Oh, you know nothing about Crucible, blah, 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 blah. I don't. I really don't. This is from what I have learned from Joe's video on Twitter, which I'll be linking, obviously, down below. And then a Relics mode. That one, I really didn't see it becoming a very good mode, in my opinion. What do you think on that one, babe?
I only heard bits and pieces. I'm interested to at least see it in practice, and then I'd make my opinion on it.
Okay, that's understandable. And that's essentially what I'm going to be doing as well.
For the love of God, get rid of Vanguard's Spec Ops. Please.
It's not gonna happen, honey. The Scion Ops and stuff, I don't think that's going. I don't think the Battlegrounds are going. However, I will say I do miss the strikes being, well, strikes and not Nightfall. Again, that's just my personal 2 cents. Um, One of the biggest things, though, I think is going to be a huge change is the whole premise of the armor. Again, PvP is getting a lot of changes, which is nice. I'm hoping it'll change the outcome of the game in a more positive light, obviously. But we won't obviously know until those launch. And obviously, a few weeks have gone in where all the bugs have been fixed and all that jazz. Um, it sounds like Joe was mentioning that there might be a few more maps coming in. That's great. I do think that's great because the same, however many maps we have, starting to get repetitive. Um, which obviously is fueling the burnout, which is fueling the toxicity, such as a snowball effect. Um, but I think the biggest takeaway for me, at least, is the ritual armor. So it sounds like there isn't going to be a lot of new Eververse armor pieces, or at the very least, um, if there are, they're apparently going to be worth the purchase because that's what he wants, is that he wants people to buy them with silver and make it worth its purchase.
Do you know what they could do for that, for armor as well?
What?
They could bring back all of the previous season pass armor, but sell it for silver.
That too. Or make it so that it can be purchased through like legendary shards or glimmer, or
Exactly.
do something like what they did with Zur and give you an exotic cipher where you could use it to what is it, to focus on exotic engrams for the vault, for any exotics there, I believe is what you could also use it for.
But in all honesty, just bringing back some of the previous season armor so that people who were there are able to get it probably end up being beneficial for a lot of people as well.
Yeah, it would more cater to the casuals as well, um, because I have a couple friends that are new lights and they don't even know what the scorched armor is. I literally have had to explain to them that it was for Forsaken, that this was old Forsaken armor back when Tangled Shore was around, right? And it wasn't just Tangled Shore and Dreaming City. So it's a little frustrating how the PvE aspect isn't really being addressed. But again, they could be addressing it for Final Shape. We're gonna obviously find out in a few days. That's all fine and dandy. Um, Again, I have my concerns for the Bungie staff because again, their safety is important just as much as everybody else in the community. They are part of the community, whether you guys choose to admit it or not. Um, but at the same time, it's really nice to know that they are opening up comms again. They're going to try and communicate a bit more as to what's actually going on, what's happening, what's going to be changing in whatever season or whatever. Like it's nice to know that they're bringing that aspect out a bit more because from my perspective, comparison to other video game developers, Bungie has been by far the most responsive. Activision wasn't that way even when Activision and Bungie were together with a partnership. Again, Sony and Bungie are a partnership again. I'm going to refresh that so everybody is well aware that this was not a buyout. This was a partnership. Um, Blizzard Activision now is absolute trash. And there is a lot of need for that communication. So it's really nice to know that Bungie is going to be trying to open those up again. Obviously, with the notion that the staff members are going to be safe while these conversations happen. And honestly, I do believe that their safety is important as well. Just as much as your safety is as a video game player, as a player of Destiny, as somebody who is contributing to the business I understand your opinion does matter. But at the end of the day, if you're going to be throwing death threats to people like it's just nothing, even if it's an empty threat, a threat is a threat. People need to really sit down and evaluate themselves personally as to what they're doing with their lives in regards to this. But that's for another topic. That's just my personal standpoint. Again, before anybody goes into the comments saying that I work for Bungie, I do not work for Bungie. I do not. And even if I did, who fucking cares? Besides the point. Short and skinny, PvP is getting a whole workaround. Armor is going to be more ritual based, which again is going to be Strikes, Crucible, and Gambit, which is going to be really nice. And they're opening up comms. That's pretty much the short and skinny of it. I am really impressed that the gaming director had come out and said something, though. It's really nice to know that somebody on the, per se, the higher level of the food chain is addressing the issues that have been, well, not all of the issues, but again, that could be all addressed during the final showcase. Because again, he was only just discussing armor, PvP, and communications. It wasn't really anything PvE based, which probably means that they're going to be discussing it more come showcase day. So obviously tune in for that. That's going to be a huge day for a lot of people. I'm just hoping that it's going to be a turn for the better, because as somebody who has seen firsthand this toxicity between friends, fellow teammates, just in general, it's atrocious. And I hope that, and again, I know some people who have been saying, like, these are the issues that Bungie needs to address, are very passionate and want the game to succeed. I want the game to succeed. I know APOC wants the game to succeed. We all want this game to succeed, and for those of us who've been around for a long time.
And the only thing I'm going to say, Joe, is if by chance you happen to see this...
I doubt it.
Your stream, there's going to be so much toxicity.
You're going to get a rude wake-up call. I hate to say it. It's going to hurt.
You see that people in your company and everything like that are getting threats like that, and...
It's not going to happen to you. I guarantee it will.
It's going to happen to you in your stream. Be prepared. Not by us. We love the game.
We absolutely love the game, flaws and all. And I get it. The game can be improved, as with every other game in the world.
But just be prepared.
Just have...
Not all of what they're saying is from everybody else that plays this game.
We don't speak for the behalf of everybody in the Destiny community. I'm just explaining it from my perspective, and from anybody, you have to get closer to the camera, from anybody's perspective that have that share similar perspectives, such as myself. I know that some people were getting excited about potentially the Icebreaker coming back. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're gonna. Oh my god. That would be so bad. Unless you bring in the synthesis back.
Pocket Infinity.
Or don't even do that either, please. I swear to God, that is absolute cringe. But, like I said, I'm really hoping that this has enlightened people in the Destiny 2 community in regards to what exactly is happening. I'm really hoping that you guys are going to enjoy it. I hope I can get back into Crucible, so that I can actually put in my 2 cents. The only Crucible I've been playing this last season has literally been Iron Banner.
And Private Mayhem.
And Private Mayhem matches, so I can learn how to well skate. So, I'm really hoping that this video will, kind of turn around, the the low morale in Destiny, but at the same time, I do believe it is also up to the players, because, and also the content creators, for those content creators that are out there spreading this hate and this toxicity instead of just saying like, hey, these are issues that I'm noticing, we should probably address them, instead of saying Bungie's not responding, because now they're going to be opening up comms. But instead of complaining, maybe just talk to them as if they were an actual person, in which they are. They are humans too. Would you like to be death threatened and having the safety of your life really be in the hands of other people? Honestly, no. Unless it was a medical professional.
Not in this day and age.
Not in this day and age. Sorry. Not happening. So I implore that the community at least practice a little bit of empathy and some sympathy, you know, instead of getting too comfortable with this entitlement. Because I will say it's entitlement. When you go and you complain and spread, you know, toxicity and hate like this, it's very bad.
You buy a game, it doesn't make it yours. It's a game for everybody. It's not just yours. It's like any World of Warcraft game or any type of computer game that's multiplayer. It's not just
any
you.
game that's online in general.
Yeah, it's not just you.
It's you, and your impact can in fact affect others. So we're not even just addressing the whole like situation with Joe. We're addressing to you guys as a community, because quite frankly, for those of us who are, and for content creators who never play Destiny, get your head out of your ass. You have no 2 cents to provide to us. We already know the issues arising in the Bungie and Destiny 2 communities. We know. You don't have to add in your 2 cents, because from the outside looking in, no. We don't need that.
Pick up a controller and bloody well play for
If you're gonna want to put your opinion on something, fucking actually be in the game and actually learn about it. And learn about the potential many flaws that it may have. I'm not going to sit here and, yes, I personally do not like Call of Duty, but that's to be explained. That's self-explanatory.
I played it. I didn't really like it.
I didn't either. I liked it as a game, did not like the community. And that is what's causing a lot of people to deter from the game.
Like, this is almost as getting as toxic as League of Legends. And League
Do we really want to be compared to League? Do we really want to?
The toxicity is insurmountable.
And like I said, I have even my own friends bitch and complain about this game. I've even have friends say that Activision was the best thing to happen to Bungie, and I can guarantee you it's not. Because I bet you Bungie is still fixing the fuck-ups that Activision has done, and that split has been, what, years? It's been, what, since Forsaken came out?
I think so.
That was, what, 2018, 2019?
No, Forsaken came out 2019, I think.
Yeah, it was 2019. So, really, like...
No, it wouldn't be 2019 because we were dating...
Hang on.
Forsaken came out.
Hang on. No. Forsaken hadn't... Hang on.
Because we were talking about Cade's death.
Let me look up release date. September 4th, 2018. So it was 2018.
Okay.
Yeah. So I really want everybody, before you start all caps hating us in the comments, actually sit and think, why is morale so low right now? Because all it takes is one person. One person spreads that toxicity to 2 people to 4, 4 to 8, etc. What can we do as a community? Hint the word community.
It's an infection.
What can we do as a community to step up and really show the Bungie creators and the devs and everybody who works for Bungie why we love this game, why we want it to succeed? Start talking to the devs like a normal person. I guarantee you will go a long fucking way in comparison to someone complaining. Because I guarantee you if someone was complaining to you all the time, you're just going to tune out their bullshit. Tell it to you like it is. I'll always do it. But basically, I'm really thoroughly impressed with Joe for standing up and stepping up and saying like, hey, these are the issues that we've been noticing. We're going to be working on some other things to try and make things work. They're going to try and throw things to the wall and see what sticks. Because at the end of the day, I would really love for my son, when he's old enough to play Destiny, to be able to enjoy the game like we have. But if the community continues to make this toxic, I don't know if I want to raise my son in that environment. And APOC can stand behind me on that. We are responsible for the future generations of Destiny players until Destiny gets cut off from its servers, which I doubt will ever happen. I would thoroughly be surprised if they did that with D1. I really would. But
emulators at that point.
Right? But anyway, that is what I got from it. I'm more than willing to listen to your guys' opinions and facts in a respectful manner. If they are not to be respectful, then I'm just going to delete them. And again, before anybody, I will say this to the fucking day I die, I do not work for Bungie. Stop saying I do, because I don't. If I did, where's my fat paycheck, Bungie? Defending your asses since the dawn of time at this point. So, but nevertheless, good luck, Bungie developers and staff at Bungie. Let's hope that this is the turnaround that we're looking for, at least on the PvP perspective. We cannot wait to see Showcase. I can't personally. I'm super fucking amped.
I'll be at work.
So, yeah. With that being said, we're signing off. Nerd Candy out.